Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about one of the misconceptions that I get out here because I cover, obviously, training is at least 95% of the content of this channel. We care about strength, everything else. Nutrition ends up taking a back seat because it's not always my wheelhouse, it's not my forte. I do know a lot about it. I've spent many years of my life studying into it and researching it, but we cover training. So when it comes to the stuff like the gallon of milk a day, when I discuss it, even when I discuss it on social media, I have other lifters and coaches who will chime in and they misunderstand what I'm saying about it. And so I should make that clear. I'm not saying that everyone out here who wants to gain muscle should drink a gallon of milk a day, right? I am saying it is beneficial for those who can tolerate it. And I've gone into details on a lot of you out there who think you have severe lactose intolerance. You'd be surprised what you can do. We've covered that in the past of drinking only whole milk, not skim milk, of going through a phase of using something with live cultures like a Faya yogurt or something like that every day for a while so that you can tolerate it and then continuing to feed it with the milk. And again, a lot of you would be surprised who thought you were lactose intolerant who all of a sudden can tolerate 4 or 5 glasses of whole milk every day, or up to a gallon. But that's besides the point. I'm not saying that everyone out there who wants to gain muscle that they should go this route. I'm saying that people who have a really high energy turnover, who are struggling to gain muscle, should consider going this route. Because you have to keep in mind there's 2,400 calories in that. And a lot of people will say, well, that's a lot and that's my maintenance. Well, if 2,400 calories is your maintenance, you need more than milk in your diet to be healthy and fit and athletic and gain muscle, right? So obviously, common sense would dictate that would be a terrible person to put on GOMAD. But what happens if you have someone who is quite underweight with a 2,400 calorie maintenance? Well, we might want to look in that direction. Why? Because as we train, our maintenance goes up. And that's the thing that people forget. They forget when it comes to gaining weight and gaining muscle and gaining strength that metabolism is dynamic. Like if you're a really serious lifter and you think that you're active and you're 200 pounds already and you only have a 3,000 maintenance, something is wrong. That's not normal, at least in my experience. And what's the thing that people forget? That as we become more active, we're not like sedentary obese people, right? People see sedentary obese people who a certain amount of calories they eat it and it will be a surplus forever. But you need to keep in mind the average sedentary obese person who tells you they're only eating 2,400 calories really means 4,000. Okay? So you need that perspective too. But what ends up happening is that our energy turnover climbs. All right, I have leaner guys who I bulk as far as my clients go, who they stall. And then I have to remind them, because again, this happens for guys who care about leanness, to stop asking me if you need to increase your calories. Why do you need to ask me? Did the scale go up? Well, no, it hasn't gone up in 10 days. So why didn't you increase your calories 7 days ago? If you're trying to gain weight, the scale should never be stagnant for 10 days. That should never, ever happen. But they'll do that and they'll be like, but I'm on 3,000 calories. Why didn't you bump it to 3,200? And they'll bump it to 3,200 and they'll gain weight for 2 weeks and then they'll lose 1/4 of a pound. Why? Because metabolism is dynamic. Metabolism is dynamic. And as you're training, if you're doing a lot of lifting and you're training hard and you're in a small calorie surplus, people forget that your NEAT goes up. Your activity goes up. The people who have lower energy turnovers are people who cut all the time. People who are always losing weight. People who are active and never in a calorie deficit tend to have very, very high energy turnovers relative to their body weight. Right? Because they're not down-regulating their activity. Because it's calorie deficits that make you lazy. Now, we get confused with the sedentary fat person. People say, but overeating makes you lazy. No, no, not training and overeating junk food makes you lazy. Because your insulin sensitivity and stuff goes down. You have blood sugar issues. People who eat quality whole foods, who are training, they don't get lazier. They get more active. They fidget more. They have a higher thermic effect. They move around and shift more even when they lay there and try to sleep. They move more. Energy turnover goes up. You'd be surprised how many guys out there talk about having a 2400 maintenance right now, but in 6 months they'll have a 3500. See the point there? So what would I say is an appropriate point for that? I'm going to say if you can't add 1,000 calories of whole food to your gallon of milk, it's probably not ideal for you at this point, right? Because we don't get everything we need from milk. We get everything we need from milk. But if a person, say, needs to start gaining and their maintenance is 3,200, they struggle to get enough quality food, milk will work. And I think people need to realize when we talk about the milk is not equal in terms of calories to other foods. We've got good data showing the anabolic benefits. Right, I've done multiple videos discussing the electrolytes, the muscle hydration, the research on it. It is a superior food for gaining muscle and athletic performance. That 2,400 calories is not equal. It is not equal to your 2,400 calories of brown rice and chicken. It's not. It is a higher quality, more anabolic calories. So if that person, 3,200, you're like, well, that's only 800. Well, they need to gain weight. Or even if you have a 3,000 maintenance and you need to start gaining muscle and weight, a gallon of milk might work for you because you're going to be eating 3,400 anyways to gain. Could a person implement this on a smaller level who doesn't have a phenomenal appetite? Yes. You can buy half gallons of milk, right? They're pretty cheap. Buy half gallon of milk for $1.30 to $1.50 in most places. It's 1,200 calories. It still has half of the potassium and magnesium and everything else. Actually more than you need for a whole day. 1,200 high quality calories. A person could do that in place who needs to make these same gains who doesn't have the energy turnover because it scales. And the thing to remember is that it's a constant set of calories. Okay, it makes tracking easier. That's one of the big reasons people can get away with this, even people who have high energy turnovers who even do a cut, who lose a little weight, they can be done even on a gallon of milk. Yeah, and people will freak out and say, but oh my God, that's all that. But no, because it's easy to track. And it's a superior anabolic food source. If you do a half gallon, you have 1,200 calories that are stagnant and stationary that you don't have to weigh out or deal with every day. If you do a whole gallon, it's 2,400 calories. It makes tracking easier because you have less food that is being cooked or messed with or that you have to measure. Okay, it reduces the margin of error. You can be more certain of your calorie intake. Because for me, I'm basically eating 2,000 calories of other food outside of my gallon of milk. That's what I eat. That's my maintenance. It's not bulking. My maintenance is in the 4,300 to 4,500 range. I have clients and lifters who are up at 4,000 plus. That's what they need. Okay, they are out there. But it makes it easy for tracking. So no, the gallon of milk a day is obviously not for everybody. You're going to need a certain energy need before that would become even remotely appropriate. So I'm not prescribing it to everyone. But someone who still has those same goals, who has a 2,400 maintenance, couldn't they do the half gallon? 1,200 calories. 1,200 calories of some of the most anabolic, hydrating, and muscle protein synthesis inducing foods ever created. Break down the nutrition profile on it. You'd be shocked. Go look at the data. So they could do a half gallon. But I think most of you out there could benefit from drinking more whole milk. If you're trying to get jacked and strong, probably be a good idea. And it's not me that says it, the literature says it. And there's plenty of anecdote to support it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.